Instead of building relationships with people who are at the top of their game, invest in building relationships with rising stars instead. So in this video, we're going to spend a little bit talking about the ethos and mindset behind this, and then give you some very specific tactics that you can do to be able to identify and then nurture those relationships. Let's say this. You're sitting at your desk and a magical relationship genie shows up and says, I can introduce you to anyone that you want to in the world. Now, I can imagine some cooler genies with some cooler tricks up their sleeve, but let's just roll with this. Who would you pick? There's a pretty good chance that you would pick a top entrepreneur, a celebrity chef, a top athlete, someone who's likely at the top of their game or the peak of their career. And while we think those are the people that we would love to have in our corner, that we would love to have the opportunity to build a relationship with, that's probably not the best strategy. Because while society puts these people on a pedestal and makes us think that these are the people that we would love to get to know, that we would love to be around, there are a few blockers that come up. One, they already have so many demands for their time and attention and advice that they're likely not just going to hand it out to anyone that walks in the door. The second is that they already have so much resources and support and people that for you to come in and try and make an introduction or post a review or help them out or buy them a gift probably won't move the needle or be noticed at all. And the third is that the more someone becomes successful, the more they've achieved things, the harder it is for other people to separate the caring about the person versus being attracted by their success and their achievements. Are you really building a relationship with me because you care about me, or because you think I can help you out in some way based on all these other things that I have achieved in the real world? So what if, instead of trying to chase those people, you invested in rising stars instead? These are people who have yet to achieve amazing success, but you can already see that there are signs that they're going to be onto something great. So the question comes up, how do you find these people? How do you invest in these relationships? Will Smith has this great story in his excellent autobiography where he decides that he wants to become one of the top movie stars. And he looks and says, what were all the common things that the top movie stars of the time did to be able to achieve that success? And he unpacked it and figured out the recipe, and he replicated that. We can take that advice and apply that to our relationships too. So think of the people that you look up to and respect the most, the people who've achieved that amazing success. What is it that stood out that you would like to then say, hey, these are the traits that for me are really important to find in people who are still up and coming? So for me, I find that I'm really interested in building relationships with people who have some kind of contrarian point of view. They're not always going against the grain, but they're not always just doing whatever the zeitgeist is. The second thing I look for are people who have intense grit and a thirst for knowledge all the time. And the third, they are genuinely good, values-driven people. They are nice to be around. They are supportive and friendly. So those are the three criteria that I use when I'm trying to build a relationship with people and identify who do I want to proactively keep in my network and who are the people that I can just meet and just kind of, let them go on their way and not necessarily try and proactively engage with. The second is, how do I actually nurture those relationships and show that I'm in their corner? We want to demonstrate to them that we are supportive of them, not just through the good times as they're achieving great success, but through the setbacks and changes and shifts that someone may see. Now, if Stephen King comes up with a new book, You writing the 350th Amazon review and sharing it with your friends won't really move the needle or be noticed. But let's say there is an author that you really like, then for you to say, hey, I'm going to write an Amazon review, probably the first or second, I'm going to share it with my network, I'm going to then get a bunch of friends together and have them write Amazon reviews, I'm going to host a little book talk for them. That's the kind of stuff that for someone's first or second book can get really, really noticed. When they post something on social media to like and comment and reshare it and show, hey, I really support that person. Back when someone doesn't have that many fans, that can really be noticed. Being the first person to buy their product, being the person to give advice or make an introduction can also go a long way too. So again, invest in those relationships and show that you are the person in their corner. We don't necessarily know whether someone's book project or company is going to take off, or whether they are going to keep stepping up the ladder in their career. And to be honest, that's completely okay. We are not trying to build relationships with people and build our network solely because we think that this individual person is going to be successful, and the moment they're not, we cut them off. That does sound like you are using people. Instead, we are trying to surround ourselves with people that we can support, that can support us. That idea that the rising tide lifts all ships. The more that we can continue supporting each other through good times and bads, and even if it doesn't work out at all, it's completely okay to invest in these relationships. And that's also why we're taking that portfolio strategy. We're not just focusing on building a network of one. We're building a portfolio of relationships in our network, just as an investor thinks of a portfolio of companies. Just like that, some may take off, some may have middling success, some may decide not to pursue a different career, and some may have atmospheric success. And so the point for us is to build a portfolio, a network of relationships that we really care about over the long term. And as we progress in our own career, in our own adventure, that we can keep them on the same path with us too.